Here with the meat.
I look good.
It does look good, doesn't it, buddy? And that is going to add some amazing flavor. Afternoon, folks. Nate here with Murray Farm and Ranch. Boy, it's a nasty day in Oklahoma, let me tell you. They predicted a winter storm, and they did not miss. We've got 15 to 20 mile an hour north wind, a rain, snow, sleet mix, 34 degrees. I mean, it is nasty outside. I'm in the kitchen doing what I do, mixing up a couple of wild game recipes, and there's one that I really want to share with you guys. I want to show you guys how we make our elk burgers around here. They are delicious. You know, elk meat is so versatile. You can use it in so many different ways. You know, the thing with elk meat is it is very lean, and you do have to make sure and take that into consideration when you're cooking. We're gonna get started, and what I like to do is I have minced up a couple of ingredients that I'm gonna saute, and I'm gonna add that to my elk meat prior to making my patties. And what that's gonna do is I'm gonna saute it in some butter. And that butter is going to add some fat to the meat. It's going to help my patties stay juicy, help to keep the patties together. And then what we're sauteing is going to add some really just bang up flavor to the patties and make that end product really tasty. I've minced up 2 small shallots, 2 pretty large cloves of garlic, and half of a small white onion. I've got half a stick here. I'm gonna get this melted, and we're gonna saute these aromatics in the butter, and then I'm gonna let it completely cool down before adding it to my meat mixture.
Yeah. All right, so we got our aromatics in there. We're gonna cook these for a few minutes, get them kind of to a translucent.
Let me eat it.
Smells good, doesn't it, buddy?
Let me eat it.
Yeah, we're gonna eat them.
No, me.
You?
Yeah.
All right. So these shallots and onions and garlic, they're getting a nice brown color, but they're not burnt. You do not want to burn your garlic because it starts to get kind of a funky flavor. But it's nice and brown, not burned. And so we're gonna go ahead and take the heat off, and we're gonna let this cool down, and then we're gonna make mix it into our meat, season our meat, and we'll make our patties.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all that butter, all that melted goodness, the shallots, the onion, and the garlic, and we're just gonna put it in here with the meat.
I look good.
It does look good, doesn't it, buddy? And that is going to add some amazing flavor. So then we've got some chopped parsley from our garden. This isn't a have-to thing, but we've got it, and it's going to add some nice color and a little bit of change in texture. And so we're going to go ahead and do this. Now,
I do that.
if you had some other fresh herbs, you know, you could add some fresh dill. You could use some basil. You can kind of play around with this a little bit. Parsley is good because it doesn't have a boatload of flavor, but it's going to have that change of texture, add that greenery. But dill is really good. And then the last part is Sam is going to put 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt. This is just some regular Lowry seasoned salt. Now this isn't all the seasoning we're going to use. We're going to season the patties at the very end after they're made. But we're going to go ahead and put that in with the meat as we mix it. Mix it, yeah. Now what I'm going to do is basically I'm just going to start kneading this meat. I'm going to get all the the ingredients mixed kind of uniformly, and then we'll start forming our patties. We got our meat all mixed up, we've got our ingredients in there, and it's time to get our patties made. I do like to use a little contraption to make my patties. That helps me to get a uniform patty. I like my patties all to be the same size, and the reason for that is if you've got all these different size patties, they're going to cook at different speeds on the grill. What I like to do is I like to get my grill a nice uniform heat across the surface, cook all the patties, for 3 or 4 minutes, flip them over, 3 or 4 minutes, boom, you're done. If you got these patties that are different sizes, they're different widths, some are kind of bubbled up, some are not, you're going to have different cooking times, and you're going to have these burgers that are not uniform. That makes it rough whenever you're trying to trying to cook a burger to the right temperature. So what I've got is I had 2 pounds of meat, and that made six patties. Or that's gonna make 6 patties. So basically, what I'm doing here is I'm making like a third of a pound of third pound burgers. I think it is very important with wild game not to get your patties too thick. If you're gonna cook these things to a medium well, if they're too thick, they're gonna get kind of dry and tough on the outside. And so I like to keep my patties, these are probably about 5/8 to 3/4 of an inch thick. These are third pound hamburgers. And then another thing that I've learned over the years is once you've made your patty, if you'll go and kind of dimple around, you're gonna pull my sleeves up for me? Thank you, buddy. If you dimple around the outside edge, as the burger cooks, it starts to raise in the middle, and it's going to come out to that outside edge, so your burger doesn't end up real fat in the middle and skinny on the outside. So I think it's really nice to dimple the outside edges, make sure and keep them reasonable thickness. Now, what we're going to make tonight is black and blue burgers. So that's going to be blackened seasoning, blue cheese, and then we're going to use a little bit of Cabela's blackened seasoning. Good blackened seasoning is kind of hard to come by, and this stuff seems to fit the bill, and it's easy to get because we can always order off Cabela's. So we've really transitioned to using this a lot. So Sam's going to help me sprinkle this on the burgers, right? Now we're just going to put a real fine, there we go, yeah. We're going to get some good seasoning on these.
I hot.
It's not too bad. All right, so we're going to give these things a good dusting, and then that's really going to be all the seasoning that we use on these burgers. Even though it's pretty cold out and snowing, we've got a good, nice hot fire. So I'm going to get our elk burgers on the grill. So the plan here is to put these burgers on, and we're going to leave them on about 4 minutes on one side, and then we'll flip them over. We'll go ahead and make a couple with cheddar cheese, just for those folks out there that don't like the blue cheese. We're going to let these set 1 more minute, and then they're coming off. A couple of burgers with some shredded cheddar, some blue cheese. We've got our buns toasted. We're going to keep these simple with our fixings. We're going to do some pickles, some red onion, some mayo, some mustard. We've got some homemade double fried French fries as a side. Homemade fries, homemade burger. Can't wait to take a bite, folks. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab one, and I'm going to dig in. I want you to see that. Perfectly cooked. Adding that fat to the elk meat is the ticket.